Man, I don't know if you can see me. OBS has been doing something funky lately. What's going on here? Jeez, I just rebooted my machine to make sure that all the problems would go away. My mouse is frozen. A couple of windows from OBS are on. And that's it. Hey, okay, there we go. We got something. All right. Let's call it something and go with that. I have no idea how the rest of this is going to go. But at any rate, we know how this part's going to go. We are here. Welcome. It's Monday. Wow, what did I just do there? There we go. What is today? Today's the 19th of January. And you have found ADRAMADA, another Dave Rush, Ask Me Anything. Excuse me, Digital Alchemy. Come for the shirt. Stay for the news and the project. And I am your host, the aforementioned David Rush. You are the proud ADRAMADA Armada. So we are a techie show and a non-techie show. We get into all kinds of everything. News of the day, music and movies and cyber and fiber and social topics and whatever comes up. So we usually start out the show, as I'm going to, with events of the day, events of the week. Right now, as we speak, as I speak, the collegiate national football championship is underway, and I'm sure you're all rooting for Indiana to beat Miami. Okay, I don't care who you're into. I have no dog in this hunt, so it's just a good football game. Hope you enjoyed football this weekend if you're a football fan. There were exciting NFL games. I have really come to not like the NFL. But some teams are worth watching and some matchups are worth watching. It was a lot of fun. So let's see who's here. And then we'll catch up on all that stuff. Hour and a half before showtime, Tullowit turns up. 20 minutes thereafter, Patricia shows up. And everybody checks in 6:30. Top of the feed, if you're just watching this, I have posted all kinds of methods to contact me if you so choose. If you have some weird, compelling reason to communicate with me, I am very happy to do so. No, these aren't all my methods, but they're the ones that I share with you guys. Patricia points out just before showtime that NASA plans to send humans beyond LEO, low Earth orbit, next month. If you don't know the term, the ISS is in low Earth orbit. In fact, anything that orbits the Earth in a non-geosynchronous or geostationary, if you prefer, is a LEO. But LEO's a pretty wide range, can go as little as 19 miles up to as high as a few thousand miles. We'll do that some other time. We haven't had a space guy on or a space woman on in a while. We had Doug Jones last year. Wow, he's amazing. Beg your pardon. All right, what else we got here? Jason in the house. What's up? Multitasking. Yeah, right, because Jason watches the show while he's at work as a support guru. And not just your basic. Have you tried turning it off and on again? It's a little more sophisticated than that. Frosty in Florida. Yes, I saw that. Here too. My front door doesn't seal marvelously well, so when the temp drops notably, I put a thing on the floor. It's a weird, cool little thing. And that's years ago, before I got the thing, I would just wrap up a paper towel and stuff it in that paper towel. But then we got a cool thing, so it's cool. If it gets really cold, I actually tape the rest of the seams with gaff tape, but not that cold. Next Saturday, very cold for us. I'm expecting gaff taping the front door. And when we do that, we can't use the front door. We only use the back door and go out the side gate and stuff like that. Yeah, Jason, you're in Patricia's neck of the woods. Cold there too. And he doesn't know from cold. When you live in paradise, ready to tinfoil the whole house. The tinfoil version of the Faraday cage. All right, let's get back to the grind here. What else is cooking here? How about this day in history? I don't have a lot today, and I didn't go very far back into history. I didn't find anything that stunningly interesting. So, as far back as we go, how about on today, January 19th, 1883, the first electric lighting system employing overhead wires, built by Thomas Edison and his Edison Electric Company, began service in the lovely little village of Roselle, New Jersey, which is very close to where he was making electricity. He didn't run a ton of power. If you ever get pictures of that, I don't do pictures of these bits of news, but it's really cool. They've got a post with a bunch of cross beams and a lot of wires coming in and out of it and crossing it, but it's what, 8 feet tall, 10 feet tall, something like that before the first cross, and it goes up maybe 20, 30 feet with, it looks like hundreds of wooden cross beams. So it's really kind of cool. Then 55 and 17 years later, in 1955, on this day in history, Scrabble debuts on the board game market. And that's it. I just found 2 goodies that I found worthy of on this day in history. So, eep, op, ork, here we go. If you are joining us for the first time, you've been surfing the net, you were looking for something weird and wacky and funky, and you found ADRAMADA, we've got a Discord home. It's I'll read my notes here. It's brand new. It's wide open to ideas. So pardon our dust. I don't think we can call it brand new anymore. We're not huge, but we have broken our 100 member and are heading for 200 now. Just we trickle and grow. Discord is our Discord is a techie and non-techie area. We have all kinds of channels from AI and can't even think of all kinds of IT stuff, but all kinds of non-AI, right? We had sci-fi movies and music, and I don't think we have a crochet channel up yet, but check it out. At the beginning of the feed here, just before the show started, I put the invitation link for it. You can also find the link in the YouTube show description. So come on over, join us. We've got a lot of fun. We got a lot of great people over there, and a lot of great topics, and we love your input, and we'd love to have for you to help us grow. Last week, okay, what did we do last week? Last week, we came back after about a 6-month hiatus, and I scheduled a 2-topic show. It being so long since I've done a show, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get to the 2 topics, and I sure enough didn't. Which is okay, because that leaves me the second topic as today's primary topic. So what we talked about last week were tools of the trade, and we just picked a couple of different trades that I'm directly or peripherally involved with, and just showed you some fun and interesting tools that we use in audio-visual, portable networking shows, AV, regular networking things. So that was part 1 of what was going to be a 2-part. 2-part was going to then move into a product that we are expanding into. The product is called CARS, the Computer Assembly and Repair Simulator. Never even got started on that other than to mention it. So that is the topic of today's show. And we'll get into that in the second half of the hour or so. So it's a kit. And it's a kit for aspiring STEM students and other classes. So we can do this in school classes and individuals and all kinds of things. It's going to be really interesting. I hope you like this. Self-serving? Yes and no. This isn't about me. It's not about making money. It's about getting technology, learning tools into the hands of people who really need it. So where we usually go next? Not sure anybody's. Oh wait, there's activity. Let's go see what's going on. There's a line I say way too often. Deaf cold. Let me see. Been chilly lately here lately. Chilly. I'm truly looking forward to what you call. Give me a 24-hour top and bottom range of what people in paradise call chilly. Not the country, because we know that's Chile. We're going to talk about nuke today, N-U-U-K. All right, well, let's do news of the week. I don't have a ton of it. We're a techie, we're a non-techie show. And this question was posed on our Discord server, and I gave a little quickie, and then I found myself in some other forums talking about it, and I realized I'm no expert on the subject of Greenland, but I pay attention, and I do a little research. So I just thought I would share some the facts about Greenland. Okay, I'm not going to get into the politics or the social aspects of what's going on around there, but Greenland is such an interesting topic, and there are a lot of people who know very little about Greenland. And this is actually kind of funny. Somebody we all know and love very well, who is always right. And I don't mean that sarcastically or facetiously. He is brilliant. But I said something one day, and he flipped around and said, that's not the case. And so I had to go and prove it. And I've carried this around for a little while. You all know and love him. So, all right, let me just head for my notes here. Greenland, it's in the news. It's not tech news, but it's widely discussed. And the Charter of ADRAMADA is pretty much any subject is fair game. So I don't take a position on this, just taking a moment to provide a little information. So Greenland is an island nation state just off of the east coast of Canada. It is not its own entity. It is a wholly owned nation state. It's owned by Denmark or the Netherlands or Holland. Holland is a district in Holland, which is the Netherlands, which is Denmark. Anyways, the leadership of Denmark has granted the privilege of self-rule to Greenland. They don't want to mess with them. If they can get some benefit from them, they do. But otherwise, you're ours. Just know that, all right? And don't screw things up. Yeah, I know. It's not very green. We're getting there. Interesting little factoids about it. The population of Greenland is about 56,000 people. For context, the least populated state in the U.S. Are you envisioning, if you are a U.S. citizen, that it should be up in like the New England states, maybe Delaware or something like that? Because you're not even close. The least populated state in the U.S. is Wyoming, with about 580,000 people, more than 10 times the population of Greenland. The capital city is Nuuk, N-U-U-K, or Nuuk, also called in the local language. I don't know how to pronounce this. I didn't look up. I'm going to presume it's Gotab, G-O-D-T-H-A with a symbol over it, B. Somebody can put the pronunciation here in the chat feed if you feel that need. I'm not going to try any harder than that. Nuuk is located on the southwestern shore, a relatively short boat ride or plane ride to Baffin Island, Canada. Okay, short, it's 1,000 kilometers, 620 miles or so. Nuuk, this capital city, has a population of about 18,000, so just about a third of the entire nation's population is based there in Nuuk. We call it Greenland. It's only green around the gills, meaning the shoreline, because it is mostly covered by a huge ice sheet. Lots of thick ice, leaving only the shoreline green and habitable. It holds potential for geothermal energy. It has not been harnessed, and for the possibility of large quantities of natural resources, but these have rarely been explored and never exploited by either Denmark or Greenlanders. There is offshore oil. It's extracted by a number of nations under contract with Greenland. So what makes it so interesting to the current political administration? Remember, I'm not taking a side here, and there's more to it than I'm presenting here. Just thought this was interesting. So there's basically two things. A, the country has the capability to explore and extract. This country, the U.S., has the capability to do the exploration and to do resource extraction that neither Denmark nor Greenland has to do in any kind of commercial or worldwide commodity quantity. Further, this country has the ability to harness the geothermal energy and create livable areas where currently none can exist. Okay, so is that a valid reason to pursue it? We can come over there and build a geothermal city for you. No, obviously they want more. And so, notwithstanding the potential value of natural resources, and there is great value on a worldwide market to take advantage of geothermal activity, is its location. Okay, given the current political climate with several of the large superpowers, east and west, depending on how you want to look at it, its location is a huge strategic asset. So why does the U.S. want to own it, or why does the U.S. administration want it? First of all, it acts like it does, but I don't think so. All right, now I'm injecting my own political schooling and lack thereof. I read in the last 24 hours that senior officials in the administration are talking about the president offering $50,000 to $100,000, let's assume that's US dollars, to every Greenland citizen. That doesn't mean a tremendous amount of our budget. But it's pointless, okay? Let's say that the U.S. offers everybody on there $100,000 in order to sell yourself to us to become a U.S. territory or whatever. They can't say yes. They don't own it. They live there, they rule there, but it's owned by Denmark. So any purchase that's going to happen has to be done with Denmark, not the citizens of Greenland. So I don't think that they want to buy it directly. I think this is a bargaining chip, this position. I just don't see this as a realistic, we are going to embargo you, we're going to tax you until you sell us Greenland. That doesn't make sense, and the administration is not dumb. So I think it's a bargaining chip to gain access to business opportunities and strategic opportunities in Greenland, and they're just starting out with a very hyperbolic approach. So if you know more about this, you want to talk more about this, head on over to the ADRAMADA Discord server. We'll all dish out our global political and social knowledge and perceptions with each other. Love these kind of discussions. All right, moving on. As was pointed out by Patricia before the show started, Cape Canaveral, Florida. NASA's giant new moon rocket moved to the launch pad this past Saturday in preparation for astronauts' first lunar fly-around in more than 50 years. And this out and back trip could blast off, in theory, as early as February 6th. That's the earliest they're talking about. The world holds its collective breath. So, SLS, let's go! I guess we're going to stick with global politics for a second. Iran, very active. There's a lot of horrible things going on there. We won't go down that road. I'm taking the technical side of it today. They shut off access to the internet. Okay, that's not surprising. It's not the first time that they've done it. but I ran across an article that I think for some people is going to be very interesting. I've, I've been aware of how this game works for quite some time, but not sure everybody does. So how does Iran cut off the internet at the flip of a switch? And I'm trying to get the time on this thing. It's been down for well over 130 hours now, 150, maybe a little more than that. The way this works is Iran, like most nations, has a large number of internet, very high capacity pipelines going into and out of the country. It doesn't all come into one particular city. It arrives in different borders. Some of it snakes its way into Tehran. Some of it is distributed elsewhere. But wherever it comes into, stop number one, besides routers, is through a firewall. Now, let us go and talk a little bit about the structure of the internet. There is this group out there called IANA, the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. Anything that has a number assigned to it in the internet had it assigned by IANA. Everybody's favorite topic when they learn networking for the first time is ports, right? We learned SSH is port 22, and FTP is port 20 and port 21. Well, those were assigned at some point by IANA. Well, IANA at some point was given all of the IP addresses in the world to dole out in blocks. And one of the first things that they did is to chunkify them into blocks that they would give to nations. And they created a bunch of sub-organizations to handle that national and international distribution. Those sub-organizations are called RIRs. Excuse me. Regional Internet Registries. So there's an RIR for the Middle East, and they carved out a sub-chunk of the chunk. Sorry about that beeping. I can't do anything about it for a minute. Still sitting with a box of brand new batteries, and I just haven't gotten there. Anyway, so they carve out a sub-chunk of, I don't know what the block is, but let's say that it's a, partial class B, 130.17 through 130.19. Okay, that is all of the public IP addresses that's going to be given to Iran, for example. And so with that in mind, that becomes really easy to simply have our text set up, pre-set up some filters on all the inbound and outbound firewall that says anything that is destined for 130.17.18 or .19, filter it, block it. And same thing, anything that's coming out from any of those addresses, filter it. It doesn't go out. So those are scripts that are already pre-written to go into the routers. All the leadership has to do is contact their IT department and say, okay, everybody, get those firewalls fired up and filtered. So that's how they turn off the entire internet to a country. Just bam, a little script that says, here's the blocks. And there's other blocks that they're going to do, and maybe they'll have special openings allowed for themselves or for a ruling class or something like that. So does that mean the internet is shut off in Iran? No, it does not, because there is illegal internet. Satellite internet is not legal in Iran. However, Starlink and other satellite-based internet access it functions. Also, for whatever their rationale is, they cut off access to the internet outside of Iran. They did not cut off, and they could just as easily have done this, telephone service, international telephone service. So, all right, there's geopolitics. Let's move into Yeah, sorry. Linux and related stuff. Last week, I told you that a new Raspberry Pi Imager 2.0.3 came out just 3 days after 2.0.2 came out. Well, whenever you whip something out that quick, there's always something that you missed. And they missed a handful of things, but one of the things that they missed in particular that was really important is it couldn't handle zipped files larger than 4 gigs, operating system zipped up OSs that you could install from online or from SD media, micro SD or whatever. Anything over 4 gig didn't work. So they came out with 2.04. They came up with a couple more fixes in there too, but that was the biggie. I just read this today. I tend not to experiment with some betas, and this is one. I don't mess with OBS beta because it's kind of a lifeblood thing for me here. But there is a new public OBS beta, powerful open source, new features, new audio mixer. That's valuable for me. A new add source dialog. Okay, adding sources. Right, I'm going to add a tab on a browser. I'm going to add a different camera. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add that. It's not intuitive, so they're going to make it a little more intuitive. WebRTC simulcast support. Lots of other goodies with new OBS beta. So as they get that going, oh, they bumped the default bitrate to 6,000 kbps. And is that it? I got 2 more slides, this thing says. What did I do there? Oh, yeah, okay. This isn't news of the day. This is just Dave's experiences this week. I'll leave that slide up while I go take a look and see what's going on up here. All right, I'm catching up on chats. Your show is okay to make money. Thanks. No, I don't do this to make money. Please, Free Tech Solutions. I just talk. Please keep Chile in prayers. Lots of folks affected by wildfires. I was not aware. So much other worldwide news. Okay. Chile is now added to the prayer list. Greenland, full of ice. Iceland is full of green. Yeah, I know. I don't know if it was grade school or middle school teacher who was convinced and told the students that, yeah, they named them that way on purpose to fool visitors and invaders and things. Stop it. Debbie! Hey, Debbie's here. Debbie Tex. Way to go. Hi. Greenland's very icy. Ice is very green. Green. Cut the green wire. All right. I woke up 2 days ago with a song in my head, carried with it all day and into the night. I went to bed. I have been told for many years, and generally this works, if you've got an earworm, a song won't leave your head, the best way to do is to sing it. Okay, well, I don't sing Benatar level very well, so I fire up Benatar and sing along with it, or whatever other tune is pestering me. So the song is You Better Run. Bump, 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 ba-da-dum, bump, which, by the way, I think is the right tempo, right? I think it should be that smoky 50s stripper beat. It's not. It's bump, 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 ba-ba-bump, bump. But I'm sorry, that's wrong. Sorry, Pat. You got this one mistaken. Nonetheless, so good tune. Okay, really great tune. And I got it cleared from my head, but I had to do a little digging on it the next day because when I brought it up on, I don't know, whatever channel, website was playing it, I saw something, a statement that looked like it was a cover. So I had to go dig down a little more deeply, and I did that yesterday. It is a total cover. Benatar did hers in 1980. The original was in 1966 by, if you're old enough like me to remember these guys, the Young Rascals. So, of course, I went and listened to the Young Rascals version. Musically, fine. Benatar added a lot more orchestration, a lot more flavor. And okay, great. So Benatar, I think, did it better. But it was a good song. But what's fascinating, I'm listening to them both back and forth, listen to this one, listen to that one. They're so different just because of the singer, right? The Young Rascals' primary lead singer was a guy. And so when he's singing, "What you trying to do to my heart?" Who's he talking about? Who's the antagonist? It's a woman who's let him down. Or when you hear Benatar, what you trying to do to my heart? That was horrible, wasn't it? But obviously, she's talking about some scum boyfriend, husband, whatever. And the images that it puts in your mind. Tell you what, you better go listen to them both after this and discuss this. But you got my point. Wow, is all I can say. I'm not sure what to say about this last piece. So much fake and deep fake AI videos out there. We knew that they would get better and better. We knew that it would get tougher and tougher to determine who's faking what. But man, so how do you spot them? We could do 2 shows on that, hours. The problem is many of them are good enough now that they are beyond human visual or audible detection. Beyond is not spelled like behind. This is an archival record of everything we do. So, okay, if you can't detect, but you think maybe, so you do close examination. You look for video details. You look for burrs. You look for blurs, artifacts, unrealistic movements. Okay. I think it all comes down to common sense. When you see something that's, wow, I can't believe that happened, that's probably what you should go with. Okay, when you see a woman in a car, side of the road, there's nothing else around, and she's loading groceries that she's picking up off the ground into a car, and then a tiger or a bear or a pack of wolves comes running down the road, and she leaps into the back of the car and closes the trunk behind her. Sorry, kids. Critical thinking. This is my whole point. My point is not about deep fakes. It's about the lack of teaching critical thinking, because people just buy this stuff. They accept whatever they see and whatever they hear as real. And that's what I could spend 10 hours on, talking about critical thinking. All right, back to Dave. I have 2 other quickie things here, and then on to project. I don't think this is a seasonal problem, because anything you can get in any season, every season exists in the world. So when it's no longer prune season in Houston, well, it's prune season down in Chile, and you can get Chilean prunes. Where are the golden delicious and the red delicious apples? There are none in any of my local stores. I'm doing Honey Crisp. They're good, but they are not golden delicious or red delicious. They're crisp, which is a whole different way to bite into it. Sorry, just my rant. It means nothing. Let me know if you have delicious apples available in your neck of the woods. And okay, the season has begun. The year has begun. The first gig of the season is on the books. There'll probably be one before then, but I got a 2-day gig in Austin, February 11th and 12th. That does not impact the show. That's a Wednesday and Thursday, as they almost always are. But it's a huge, huge gig. Big audio, lots of PA gear, and multiple mixers and mics and speakers and stuff. And I'm not real. It's not a pharma gig. They're calling it a town hall. I don't think it's a political town hall, but it could be, since it's in Austin. So I need some more detail. But I did give them the yes today. All right, let's do the last check on who's saying what, and then we're going to get into El Proyecto. What are you doing? Stop it. Honeycrisp makes great applesauce. I'm going to take your word for it. I like a more sour apple for applesauce and then add my own sweetener. But grew up, Mom made homemade applesauce. Not Granny Smith, not that tart, but now you mention it. I normally look for the delicious and didn't see any. Yeah, Granny's. Granny's have their place. Give me Granny's for an apple pie. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about what I came to talk about today. I have created an organization. This is so cool. It's called HOT, Hands-On Training. And you're not going to believe this. I have the URL for handsontraining.com. I know. Unbelievable, huh? Something that common. There's so many training organizations out there. It's ours. And that's one of the reasons I've been building web servers and getting practice on them and putting up cloud-based servers, because HOT's going on there. Well, some time ago, when I was with another company, we used to sell this product. And it was a kit with motherboards and video cards and network cards and all kinds of things where you could build a computer step by step. And it was a training aid, right? Everything from this motherboard doesn't have a CPU in it. That's all right. There's a CPU over in the kit. And we had a manual that would teach you how to do this. And if you would go to any of our courseware videos, we demonstrated that as a coincidence. Okay, we didn't create specific videos just for this product. Here's the problem. A lot of fast-acting high school kids would just grab something like, I know how to do this, and destroy it. And then we have to go through warranty, and it takes time to source projects, especially because we changed projects and versions and things like that every year. And so I came up with this idea, and I presented it, and by that time they had stopped moving the product, and they weren't interested in this. And so a year after I left the company, I said, I'm going to do this, and I want to come up with not a solution for broken stuff. I want an affordable kit that can tolerate ham-fisted abuse of equipment. And so I created CARS, the Computer Assembly and Repair Simulator. It's a lot of the same stuff that we had in the kit for the company I used to work for, except it's indestructible. You cannot hurt it. And I'll show you why in a second. So it's an indestructible kit, comes with a lab manual. Teachers or individuals use it with any curriculum out there that teaches hardware. Here's a motherboard. Here's what a USB port looks like. Here's what a PCIe slot looks like compared to a PCI. This is the difference between DDR4 and DDR5. All that stuff. So it's all in there, and all the labs, in addition to show and tell and how to put this in and how to take that out and how to identify this and how to fix the CMOS battery and you can't hurt it. So if they try to break something, go ahead. There's not going to be a warranty call coming up. This kit meets most, if not all, of the hardware assembly and troubleshooting skills in a variety of certification programs, of course, including the one that I'm generally the most familiar with, the CompTIA A+ objectives. All right, what makes it indestructible? It's already broken. I buy broken gear in large lots. Not all of it. You can't get everything broken. Some stuff is so new and so cool that repositories of dead things of this product category or classification don't exist. Okay, well then we buy inexpensive versions of it. We buy Chinese versions of it that might not work for very long, but they can't hurt anything. I bent the pins on the CPU. They were probably already bent. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to show you all this, to you in just a couple of moments. So who's it for? Well, it's for two organizations. I've taken the model from Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi used to make Raspberry Pis and sell them to people and sell them to schools for an affordable price. But the ones that they would sell not to schools and not to underserved and underprivileged facilities, they would just take the profit from the ones that they sold to guys like me, and they would apply those to educational resources, to making more pies and gifting them to schools, whatever. That is the model that I'm doing. I am providing at affordable, okay, freaking cheap, these kits to schools and classrooms that have no budget. They've got students who want to learn STEM, okay, engineering and technology, and it's STEAM now, right? They've added arts into that. Where am I going with that? And I'm selling these at a fair retail price to people who can afford them, people who want them, who aren't underprivileged, underserved, and we can use that money to buy more kits and provide them affordably to organizations. All right, so here comes cars. This is a CARS kit. It's got a zipper lock top because everything is stealable. Yeah, you can still steal stuff out of here, but a lock will dissuade some theft. Up on top, I got a whole bunch of goodies in here I'm going to pull out. And then down here on the bottom, I'm going to pull all this stuff out so you can see. Got some anti-static on it. You can kind of barely see it here in the camera. There's a motherboard right here under this guy. He's just there for padding. And then there's another layer of foam and stuff under that. So I'm going to show you fairly quickly what do we got going on in here. Yeah. Oh, good. All right, so what I've got in here is what looks like a pen, and it's not. It is a multi-screwdriver kit. What do we got here? An M2 NVMe SSD. These are 256 gigs. That works. All these SSDs work. How about a CR2032 CMOS battery? And I'm not going to pull all this other stuff out of here, but a few things, because there's some cool stuff in here. Let's just pull this pile out. CPU. So I have to get I got a whole bunch of CPUs and a whole bunch of motherboards that they work on. The motherboards are usually dead, and it's usually because they've got damaged CPU sockets from people committing atrocities upon them. What we've got in this kit is all kinds of cables for power supplies. So when we have them hook up a PCIe powerful video card, rather than whip out a whole power supply, just the cables that they need. Though we do have whole power supplies. I've got ATX switch kits in here. I've got SATA cables. I've got all kinds of cables and goodies and coolness. Oh, and I love this. If you don't love this, you're missing it. Okay, so they've just installed a CPU. You want to do it right, you got to put thermal paste on it, and then you got to put a CPU cooler on it. So none of those tiny little 1/8 of a cc. There's 20 cc's of thermal paste in here, and that means you should be able to do about 20 to 30 CPU installs. And if they want for me to throw in an extra one or two, fine. They're cheap as chips, as they say. All right. Now we start getting into the meat of the beast. We had a gentleman on last year who makes 3D printed stands in all kinds of different flavors and angles. I should have had his name in front of me. I'll do this. This is one of them. So he put on actual motherboard mount devices in there. So this is the first lab that they're going to do besides touring things, is get this motherboard mounted. And now it just stands up and they can work on it in a stand format. They can work on it upside down, on its side, whatever. It's really great stuff. And otherwise, it's a motherboard. It's a modern motherboard. It has everything that people will encounter on modern motherboards. Multiple PCIEs, multiple M2 slots, USB ports up the wazoo, an 8-pin CPU power cable, 24-pin power. Yeah? Oh, yeah. But wait, there's more. Bum, 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 da, 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 bum, bum. You got to have storage. Do we give them a hard drive? No. Oh, wait, that's a hard drive. Yeah, but we don't give them a hard drive. We give them a bunch of hard drives of all different kinds. There's SATAs, there's SATA 2.5, SATA 3.5, adapters for all of them. Excuse me. What is this, Dave? Why would you give them this hokey piece of trash? Two reasons. One, people buy these and people use them. This is a PCIe by 16, very, very basic video card. It is so basic that it doesn't need additional power from the power supply, but they have to be installed. They have to be serviced. They have to be pulled out and replaced with a powerful video card, right? So that's practice just to put stuff in. Sorry, these aren't in order in the kit, but trust me, down there we've got all kinds of goodies. How about multiple different kinds of RAM? There's RAM that's designed, and it has labels on it, to go into this motherboard, DDR4. We've got DDR5, we've got DDR3. So you ever do that, right? You try and look in a manual or a book or a piece of paper, and you're trying to figure out what's different about DDR4 and DDR5. Yeah, they got different pin counts, and you have to memorize those for some certifications. Ugh. But we also describe that they have different key slot locations. This is how you get to learn that stuff. And they can try and stuff it on the motherboard, but that'll really wipe out the motherboard. What do we got in here? That's so cool. It's too cool to bring out, yes. So then, after you've learned how to install a simple video card, they get a real video card with multiple PCIe power slots and multiple brackets. Hey, multiple CIE, so there's labs written for all these. I got 34 labs written for these and more as I think of them. If you guys have suggestions, I'll share the labs with you on the Discord server if you want to help me continue to develop this. But these products are ready to go. I got 5 kits ready to ship. What are you, my friend? How about a PCIe buy one card, right? This is an Ethernet card. All you need is buy one to get a gigabit. So, yep, we got to do that. And then we can get multiple PCIe cards going there simultaneously. A stock CPU cooler. And this comes with the appropriate mounting gear for it. So, yeah, I'm going to build my first machine. It comes with a CPU. The CPU comes with a stock CPU cooler. Fine. Later, I want to upgrade. I have 2 other coolers in here. One is a big one. I'm not going to pull this out of here, but it's a big one. Cool. Pull out that stock one, pull in the big one. Then what? I want to put in a super massive overclocked CPU. You know what's in here? A water-cooled CPU. It's for the deluxe kit. And then the final thing, oh, that's perfect. You got a regular, full-size, everything you need power supply. Stop ringing there. It's my 10-minute warning, which is exactly what I wanted. It's right where it should be. So this is the cars kit. Let me tell you a little bit about some of the labs. Again, I got 34 labs here. They start from very simple to knock your socks off. So we start out with not even touching that stuff. How to get motherboard support documentation. There's wrist strap grounds in there. How to use your wrist strap ground. Mounting and dismounting the motherboard tour, components tour, CPU installing, stock heatsink fan installation and removal. There's different steps. CPU removals, compare RAM modules, SSD removal and install, SATA drive removals, basic video cards, stream cooling, water cooling, fancy RAM installs. I got fancy RAM in there with LEDs and coolers and stuff like that on it. How to reset the CMOS, removing and replacing the CMOS battery, install USB front panel connectors. It just goes on and on and on and on. That's the cars kit. I have most of the equipment, and I've been writing labs for the next kit, and this one is cool. This is going to be the follow-on kit. This is called Hot Phone, right? Hot hands-on training, and the new kit is called Phone, Practical Hands-On Network Experimenter Kit. I am totally open to a new and better name, but for now, it's the Hot Phone kit, and I like that. And this one is different than that one. Everything works. The kit comes with a router, 1 or 2 switches, cables, crimp tools, network diagnostic tools, 2 Raspberry Pis. One which is going to have a whole bunch of servers installed on it. One has a whole bunch of clients, and they'll do some of those installs. And then it's got labs. We're going to start with simple labs, making cables, straight through cable and crossover cables, and using the test equipment. And then how to connect host to host, how to connect host to switch, how to talk to the servers and clients through the switches. Then we're going to add routers into the game. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Make 2 horizontal runs by punching down a pair of cables at least 10 meters from 2 wall jacks. We got wall jacks in there. This just goes. All right. How to do VLANs, how to do untagged VLANs, how to do tag VLANs, how to set up multi-port routers. Ugh. Change RPi VLANs to same tags, different tags. VoIP labs. How about a VoIP lab? SNMP labs. Pi cameras. I got cameras in these kits just because they can do cool things. And I want to use my Pi client to go see on my server. How about viewing the SDP tables? All right. That is the project. That is the show. So where we're at now is developing HOT so that we can find our markets, get these things in people's hands, get them sold to people who can afford them so we can get more money and make more and get more equipment. It's fascinating. It's fun. It's amazing. Let me see what you guys are doing. We got about 7 minutes left in show. Yes, HOT is cool. Yes, Zach from 3D Printmaster. Man, you are on top of it, Patricia. Many thanks. He's awesome. And I have used all of the things that he's sold me, so I'm ready to hit him up for another batch so we can make more kits. And I don't know about you, but I love the heck out of those cases. We used a very different hard case in another world that I was in. I like these soft cases because they're a lot more affordable. How's that? Those hard cases that I've used in other worlds, they run $75 to $150. Those things I get for about $30. Don't be excited for me. Be excited for our impending students. Okay, I'm breathless. I am excited. Well, guys, dolls, I've got nothing else in my notes. I don't know what next week's show is going to be yet. I'll do a little bit of this. Tomorrow is day one at the new gym. It's a week trial. I've been in there a whole bunch of times, and I'm just not sure that it's going to work for me, but I let them talk me into a week freebie trial. So tomorrow morning is my day one of the week. No, the website isn't even close. It doesn't even have the DNS applied yet. We can certainly talk about that. Thank you, Telowit. Anyway, so try a new gym tomorrow. I'll try that out for a week. I'll see if it's something that I can do, and if cool, if so, I'll buy a real subscription to the place, a membership, whatever. And if not, I'll go pick another gym and try a 7-day with them. I bought a workout bench. It's up in the bedroom. Is that wrong, right? Is that how this kind of stuff begins? I don't want to be a gym rat. I don't want to work out every day. I work out every day, 6 days a week, but just a little bit. But I don't want to, be the guy who goes to the gym 7 days a week for 3 hours a day, 2 sets a day. All right, we can leave that where it is. The bedroom was the only place. That's not 100% true. I keep my kid's room intact for when he visits. But yeah, you're right. It's going into his room because he only visits a few times a year. And I asked myself, is it worth putting in there, and when he's there, trying to get his generation of people, get up, I got to come in and work out. Well, guys, anybody got anything cool going on in the upcoming week? And while you're filling that in, a reminder, if you're tuned in later in the show, heck, I'll put all this up. I got 4 minutes left, 3 minutes. We've got a Discord server. We do a lot of our communication and development and all kinds of other goodies on there. Here's the link for it at 3 minutes before the end of show time. If you want to get in contact with me, here's ways to do that. If you've got possible candidates who either want to purchase these at an organizational level or who need these as an underserved level, reach out to me, have them reach out to me, and we will get a dialogue going and see what we can do for everybody. There, lots of ways to contact. All right, well, I'm going to wind up then. I've got 2 minutes left. Let me see here. Does anybody see anything? Yeah. You don't do anything on the workout bench while we're supposed to be sleeping. That'd be 400. Up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, I'm just going to make a little noise for a few minutes, hon. Cover your ears. Probably not appropriate, is that? All right, well, I'm going to go and watch the rest of the Collegiate National Football Championship game. And then while I will watch the rest of NFL for the rest of the year through the Super Bowl, I just can't bring myself to care about it much. So call it good football. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming along. I appreciate it as ever and always. It's not a show without you. And so I wish you a great rest of the week. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. And, of course, if at all possible, call or visit your parents. Most importantly, never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. And with that, I bid you good night. I'll see you on ADRAMADA next Monday and the other platforms that I'm on. Until then, remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. Eep, op, ork, ah, ah.